be not knowing. No past. No expectation. The vastness of silence. No effort. And alive, vibrant, not knowing. Being, not knowing. Which is not an activity of thinking. Presence and absence as one. I am. Absolute reality, absolute, indisputable being. But there are no things, no separate form, no separate reality. Presence and absence as one. The I am where everything and nothing are merged as one. Beingness, awareness, recognizing itself, not as an object, not as somebody. And yet there is this recognition of awareness by awareness. Beingness recognizing itself. Knowingness, knowing itself. Meditation is this knowingness, knowing itself, being knowingly awareness, presence. In the absence as well as in the presence of so-called forms. This borderless aware presence, so magical, takes on the form of hearing, perceiving, takes on the form of thinking, takes on the wondrous form of sensing. There is no separate self. It is that formless, invisible reality of awareness, which takes on the form of a thought, vibrates as a thought, vibrates as a perception. Vibrates as a sensation. While maintaining its universal, transparent, borderless, formless reality, while maintaining itself as it is, effortlessly, like water effortlessly takes on the form of a wave or a raindrop. While remaining water, unchanged. You are this unchanged, changeless, unborn, unformed reality of consciousness. no matter what appears to you, whether you are perceiving a cloudy sky or a rainy sky. You are this transparent, aware presence. Unaffected by the weather, unaffected by images on the screen, whether the image on the screen is a sweet murmur of the brook flowing by, or whether the image on the screen is the sound of thunder. You remain as you are, this infinite, invisible, transparent, aware presence that knows that it is and knows that it knows. In this knowingness, knowing yourself to be this transparency, and knowing yourself to be the reality of all appearances, in this knowingness, that knowingness is meditation. It is not an activity undertaken by a personal mind. It is an understanding that enlightens the mind, that reveals to the mind its reality. So in the scriptures, it is said, know thyself, meaning know thy reality, not the storylines about the body-mind, the history, but know thy reality as I, universal awareness. And as I, the reality of the world, body and mind. As a result of our conditioning, our worldly makeup. We feel and believe that we are a man or a woman, that we are a form, that we are a particular body-mind. This belief appears to you as thoughts and feelings. These thoughts and feelings repeatedly tell you you are a person, you are a body-mind. In particular, the feelings. You're a good father, you're a good mother, you're a good teacher, you're a good student. But these thoughts and feelings are images on the screen that repeat themselves out of our conditioning. Although these thoughts and feelings repeat themselves, you are this, you are that. This does not mean that a thought or a feeling, no matter how stubborn it is, knows anything about you. Right? No thought or feeling knows anything about you. Yes? You know the thought or the feeling. You perceive the thought or the feeling. And thus, you are the knowingness of the thought, of the feeling. Not the other way around. And you know that you know. The knowingness that knows that it is knowing. The knowingness that knows inherently, by its very nature, knows that it is knowing. A thought or a feeling does not know. The known does not know. The knowingness which knows it. The known, the thought, the sensation does not know the knowingness which perceives it. Yes? So there is no need for you to rely on thoughts and sensations to guide you towards your knowingness. Rather, you rely on knowingness itself. to reveal to you that you are this knowingness. You rely on awareness itself, which tells you, yes, I am aware, and I know that I am aware. That is the direct path to understanding. The understanding about consciousness, the understanding about reality, the understanding about truth. There is no one who does meditation. Meditation is your true nature, the reality of being, the reality of consciousness, and the reality of the world, body, mind. Yet that understanding is the gateless gate. And this gateless gate is crossed once you cease maintaining, or as you cease maintaining the belief that you are a separate self. In that moment, the gateless gate is crossed, each moment freshly. Infinite crossings of the gateless gate. There's no end to this crossing of the gate, which is gateless. Okay, so if you have any questions, please make sure you unmute yourself.
Hi, Magdi.
Yes, hello, Lorraine.
Thank you for the meditation.
Yes.
I feel like this is kind of a basic question, but I wanted to ask about deep sleep and anesthesia. I have the experience of my mind disappearing during deep sleep and anesthesia, but I also feel like awareness disappears. Can you comment on that?
Yes. Yes. So when you say you have the experience of your mind disappearing in anesthesia or deep sleep, that means that you can attest to the absence of thoughts, the absence of sensations, the absence of perceptions during anesthesia. So the mind, according to your experience, is not there. Yes?
Well, I guess I would describe it more as, I'll talk about anesthesia because it's more prevalent, and I get a procedure like once a year that I have to kind of go under. My experience is just that, I'm everything disappears, and then as though there has been no time. I think my experience I would describe, like, I can't say that it's the absence, the absence of anything. It's as though no time has passed, and there has, I guess rewording it, I would say that I have no experience at all.
Yes, yes. And you have no experience means, like, what is experience? Experience right now, what is experience? There's hearing, there is sensing your feet on the ground, or sensing maybe hunger, or sensing an itch. And also there are thoughts. Maybe there's a thought right now, just you're hearing words, and these words are representing certain thoughts. And so your experience, if you look at your experience right now, it's composed of perceptions, hearing, seeing. It's also composed of sensation, the sensation of your back against the chair or whatever. And it's also composed of thoughts. That's how we can summarize our experience. Yes, and but in anesthesia, there is no experience, meaning there are no perceptions, there are no thoughts, and there are no sensations.
Yes.
So yes. So that's so in yes, under anesthesia, the mind. By the way, by the mind, Lauren, I don't just use the term mind to refer to thoughts. I use the term mind to refer to the all phenomenal events, meaning experience. I use the term mind to refer to thoughts, perceptions, and bodily sensations. So yes, in anesthesia, the mind is not there. There are no thoughts, sensations, and perceptions, right?
Right.
Right. So your question is that in your experience under anesthesia, there is no mind, but you also feel that there is no awareness.
Right.
Right. Now, how do you know that there is no mind? You know there is no mind because in anesthesia, you don't perceive thoughts, perceptions, or sensations.
Correct.
So how do you know that there is no awareness?
I can't say that I have proof that there is no awareness.
Oh, well, in that case, you could not say there is no awareness. You can ask yourself the question, gee, what if you don't know, or it's different? That's the fact that the statement of I don't know is makes sense to me. But that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, like, how do you know? Because if I heard you right, I think you were saying that there is no awareness. So how do you know there is no awareness?
Well, my only sense of having awareness is from, I guess, what you would, the experience of mind, that awareness is connected with thoughts or bodily sensations or perceptions. And I have not had the experience of awareness in absence of those things. Now, when I'm awake and, say a thought changes, when I go from one thought or I go from a perception to a thought, I guess there is a sense that the awareness is continuous. My awareness is continuous.
I mean, you're making the assumption that the awareness depends on perceptions, that the absence of perceptions means the absence of awareness. You're making this assumption that when thoughts, perceptions, and sensations are absent, that means awareness is absent. Now, two things. It is true that when an object is absent, we are aware of the absence of the object. When the memory of your mom is absent, we could say, well, yeah, the awareness of that thought is not there because that thought is not there. So it's a particular awareness of an object. So like when water takes on the shape of a wave, there is a wave and the water is taken on the shape of the wave, but when there is no wave, we can say, well, there is no wave, but we cannot say there is no water. Now, when you ask yourself, like now, right now, am I aware of hearing these words? Your answer will go, yes. Why? Because you have evidence of hearing. You have an evidence of perception, right?
Right.
When you ask yourself, am I aware of feeling hungry? I'm just creating that. You check, you say yes or no. I'm aware of being hungry if that sensation is there. Why? Because you checked and you found the sensation of hunger in the body, a bodily sensation, right? Which we call hunger. But when you ask yourself, am I aware? What is your answer? Am I aware?
Yes.
Yes, I'm aware. But in this case, this particular question, which is different from am I aware of hunger or am I aware of hearing? This question has no object. It's just strictly, am I aware? Invariably, all 7 or 8 billion of us would say yes. But in this case, we have not gone to, we haven't gone into the space where there is a thought or perception or a sensation. We didn't. So that very simple exercise or reasoning of how do I know I am aware answers the question that awareness knows that it is aware in the absence of thought, perception, and sensation. Okay, some people question that. They say, well, wait a minute, there is a body there. There is a body there, which is a thought. So they go back to the argument is, well, wait a minute. There is a body, so they introduce an object. So, well, the reason why I know that I'm aware is because there is a body. They just pull this argument out of the hat, like the magician, pulls a rabbit out of the hat. They say, well, hey, here's my proof. The reason why I am aware that I'm aware is because there is a body. But wait a minute, that's going back to the belief. That's not a proof. We're simply going back to the belief that, wait a minute, there is a body, and therefore I am aware that I'm aware because there is a body.
When you mention that, I think there is a slight, I've had trouble with that question. And I sometimes think there's a slight, feeling of the question that I'm answering the question I'm really answering is kind of, are you alive? No,
the body is alive. No,
not are you aware? Like I realize they're different.
Yes.
They are different questions, but I think maybe I do.
Yes, I understand that they're
like the sense of being aware somehow might mysteriously come from the body, although I have no proof of that.
See, I'm not talking about the sense of being aware. I haven't used that language. I didn't ask you, do you sense that you're aware? I didn't ask that. I asked, are you aware? I didn't use the word sense, so I don't want to go into sense because now we're talking about sensation. I'm just talking about, are you aware? Now, if you ask yourself the question, is this body alive? Well, all you need to do is you put your hand on the pulse, and you feel the heart pumping, and that's how we define, in our society, in our culture, we define the body as being alive as long as there is a heartbeat and EEG and electroencephalogram brain activity. But we don't have an EEG machine right now, so we put our hand, we say, oh yeah, the body is alive. But we're talking about the body. It's very specific, yes? It's like you say, is this light on? Well, no, it's off. Oh, yes, it's on. It's phenomenal. We can check it. We can check it. You see, but so there's a different question. Is the body alive? It's a very specific question. The doctors always. But here we're asking, am I aware? Not do I have a sense of being aware or do I remember? Just the simple question. Ask yourself the question, am I aware? Not why I'm aware or how come I'm aware, or no, just am I aware? The answer is going to be, yeah. Right? I mean, I don't want to push my answer on you, but.
No, I see what you're saying. I mean, sometimes I think I'm kind of putting the confusion. I'm thinking it's more complicated than it is, because even if I take away memory, so I'm not relying on memory, and even if I take away any bodily sensations, I can still answer the question, yes.
Yes. You see, what happens due to our confusion is when we ask ourselves the question, am I aware? We change the question. We hear the question, but we change the question. You know, the way we change the question, and we change it in the following manner. We say, am I, comma, Magdi, comma, aware? In other words, is Magdi aware? We squeeze in the body, we squeeze in an object. We say, yeah, I'm aware because the body is here.
Okay.
But the question doesn't have a comma in it. It doesn't have like the I. It's just another way of asking this question. It's now we're getting into it, but it's okay. Is there awareness? Then it gets to be a little bit more philosophical. But yes, of course, there is awareness.
That's easier for me, actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I would like to add some addendum question to the questions of Lauren.
Can you? Yes. Can you hold on, if you don't mind, 1 minute?
Sure.
Yes, Priya. Yes, 1 minute. 1 minute. So in anesthesia, there is no mind because of the anesthesia. There is no sensory perceptions. But that is not evidence that there is no awareness. If we say there is no awareness, that means we checked. We looked in there and we found no awareness.
I didn't check. I don't check during anesthesia.
I mean, then it's like, you know, I ask you know, my son, hey, you know, is Tara in the kitchen? And he goes, no, she's not in the kitchen. Did you check? So no, but I feel she's not in the kitchen. I said, but well, okay, I mean, I'm not asking you what you feel, if you feel she's in the kitchen or not. That's not my question. I ask what the question is Tara in the kitchen? So you have to go check. So if you go check and you open the door and you say, you know, no, there is no awareness, then my question is, what is it that checked? What is it that says there is no awareness? Obviously, there has to be awareness to open the door, looks, and says, oh, well, there is no awareness.
Right. Awareness would check. If awareness would check if there was awareness.
So it's its own proof. So it doesn't make sense to say, well, I checked and I found there is no awareness, because you are awareness. Obviously, awareness is there. Anyways, coming back to sum it up before Priya can speak to this, remain not knowing. If you don't know, then it's better to remain not knowing. So I don't know.
I can see that's a more honest.
Yeah, it's right.
That's a more honest.
It's more honest. It's more honest. And then ask yourself the question, in my experience, do I ever experience the absence of awareness? You will find that in your experience, you often experience the absence of the body, the absence of thoughts, the absence of perceptions. You will not find in your experience that you actually experience the absence of awareness. Anyway, again, check it out, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but Priya wanted to say something. Priya, are you?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
I would like to add some more question to question of Lauren.
Sure.
Okay, so here is the thing. Like, for example, when we go for the mindfulness meditation, then we find out that our mind is wandering, right?
We go for the what meditation?
Any kind of meditation, you start taking an object and then you find out that your mind is wandering, right? So you're trying to follow your breath probably, and then you find out you are sinking in a thought or some story of the previous past, right? And then you find out, oh my good God, I was trying to follow my breath, and then you find out you are following a thought or a previous experience, right? Or a future thing to do or planning something, right? You caught inside. And then you become aware of that, and then you come back to your breathing, right? That's happened too. But that doesn't mean that your five sensory was not there, your mind was not there, right?
Right.
So question to Magdi, also know, because he's very experienced, also know that we call one kind of Adividya, which is a Buddhistic language actually, is called memory recall. What does it mean? Let's say sometimes everybody has a situation, we forgot something and we cannot recall it to our memory. And then after some try, we can get it, right? Or, that there is also some kind of disease we have. We forgot things, not usual like ordinary people, you know what I'm saying? So in that context, I will ask if some other day, probably there's a huge topic and very interesting topic, I believe, to explain all those, like a sensory, how we got the sensory in context to how we got focused, how we got Bhavango Chitta, where actually a kind of sensation door kind of closed in meditation, deep meditation. So if Magdi one day take us a tour on those topics, I think it will be more pleasant and will better designate this kind of question. Magdi.
Well, let's say that let's put it this way. In the realm of phenomena, meaning in the realm of that which we experience, whatever we experience is interconnected. Why? Because all thoughts, all perceptions, all sensations are arising in awareness. Like, you could say that in the sky, in the wide open sky, there are a million clouds, but they are they're interconnected in that they're just clouds. All forms, they appear to be very different and to be separate, and this is different from that. But when you take a closer look, you will find that they're all made out of gluons and atoms and molecules, and they're vibrating. Like this sound, what you're hearing right now, they're just vibrations. And what you are seeing, the table you are seeing, is a different form of vibrations of the same substance. Atoms, you could say carbon and nitrogen and hydrogen, whatever. The point I want to make is that everything is interconnected in the cosmos. So our experience, we could say, oh, well, this thought is arising because of this activity that I've done. I've tried very hard to remember the name of my great-grandmother. And because I tried so hard, this thought, the name of my great-grandmother appeared. That's a model that would explain why I remember the name of my great-grandmother, which I forgot. But it could be that one other factor why at that very moment when you're trying so hard to remember the name of your great-grandmother, which you forgot, it could be that one of the factors why you remember that thought appeared to you is because your body temperature at that moment after sitting like that changed by 1,000th or 1,000,000th of a degree. The body temperature dropped or increased by 1,000,000th of a degree, and that thought appeared to you. It says, now I know the name of my grandmother. Her name was Mary, you see. And the reason why I remembered it is because I tried so hard to remember it. The point I am trying to make is that causality or interrelationships between events, between phenomena, is infinite. It is infinite because the entire realm of the phenomena, is one realm, which is the reality of consciousness. There are no separate parts within our experience. So, of course, in science, for example, and in psychology, we try to develop certain models that can help us to explain our experience, our phenomenal experience, and that would help us to better navigate our life, in the phenomenal. In terms of meditation is about truth. It is not about understanding about phenomena, about thoughts, about how you perceive, about how you remember, how you recollect. Meditation is about the understanding about reality. It is different from the understanding about phenomena. The understanding about phenomena is a very interesting understanding. We have science, engineers that also design and test the scientific models. The understanding about phenomena is not related to meditation. Meditation is solely our understanding about reality, our interest in understanding about reality. When we study reality, we realize that there is, in our experience, one reality. And that reality is hiding in plain sight. It is awareness, consciousness. We realize in our study that reality is not the body, because this body that we perceive right now, when it was 2 days old or 1 hour old, is a totally different body, right? We put those two pictures side by side, and we say, oh, how cute, this was me when I was 1 year old. But when you look at those two pictures, you cannot say, oh, this is the same. It's obviously different, because the body is changing all the time. We don't see it with our simple vision, but with certain instruments, you could see that your body is changing all the time. Your hair, your nails, the blood circulation. So we realize in our study of reality, which is meditation, that there is one reality, which is awareness. And I find that if you distract yourself with trying to understand the content of your experience, you are not moving in the right direction as a truth lover. A truth lover is focused single-heartedly on the understanding and the study and the meditation about truth and reality. Now, anything that changes over time and space, you cannot give it a particular reality. So the iceberg appears to be very real. You say, oh, here's a real iceberg, but you come back in 1 week and that iceberg is molten. What happened to the reality of the iceberg? The reality of the iceberg is not the iceberg. It's not the shape, the form, the sound. The reality of the thought, even the thought that says, oh, this is that and that is this. The reality of a thought is not the thought itself, because when you come back 2 seconds later, that thought is gone because now you are thinking about going to the pool to swim. You feel like swimming, you want to go to the pool. That thought of 2 minutes ago is gone. So the reality of thought, is not the thought. The reality of the perception is not the perception. The reality of the sensation is not the sensation. You need to be very, very clear about that. I am not denying the sensation of hunger or the sensation of tiredness or the thought, gee, I would love to go swimming. No, I am talking about reality. Because in our inquiry, we are interested in the truth and reality. And it is available to you 24/7 as your very self, the reality of I. The reality of I in this moment and every moment is awareness.
May I please, sir?
Yes, is this Hong?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Hello, Hong.
Hello. This is so interesting subject, and the notion of reality, to me, it varies according to each individual's perspective, which means one might abide in the accumulated knowledge, which one affirms and attests for that to be truth.
No, I'm sorry,
But
I have to interrupt you because I use the term reality in a very, very specific way. So it's, before we move forward further, reality is real across time and space. It is real across minds. It is real across all phenomenal realm. Reality is not something that is dependent on an individual mind. Our definition of reality may differ from person to person. You may define reality as being, I don't know, Santa Claus. I may define reality as being God. Some other people may define reality to be the body. Other people define reality to be matter. So there is one reality. Would you agree that there is one reality?
Oh, that's what I'm trying to get to, because of this is the second part that what I was going to say is that
Okay.
Because of that accumulated knowledge doesn't set a trustworthy standard at all. So we don't rely on such accumulated knowledge or make it to be truth. So the very best connotation of reality is to be as ease, no more, no less, for what is happening in the body mind, the sensation, the feeling, perceptions, and thoughts and emotions, such a thing like that. It is happening, but there's no thought input, no agitation, no emotion against what that is, which is happening right there at that moment. That's what I try to point to.
Mm-hmm. If we look at our experience, because we don't need to complicate it, if we look at our experience in this moment, okay, because if there is reality, then there must be this reality this moment. So in this moment, what is our experience? Our experience this moment is hearing, perceiving, sensing. We sense the body, we perceive this image. Thoughts, there are thoughts. So our experience is made out of thoughts, perceptions, and sensations. But also our experience is made out of awareness. Now the thoughts change every second. The perceptions, the sensations, it change every second. Like they're not, they're like, but that which does not change in our experience is awareness. So it's very simple. In our experience, the reality, when we look at what is reality in our experience, it's very clear. There is a stream of images, but there is awareness which is not changing. Once we understand that, then we ask ourselves this next question, which is, how many realities are there? And we hopefully come to the conclusion that there is one reality. So therefore, given there is one reality, and given that consciousness, awareness is real, that one reality is awareness, consciousness. And given that there are perceptions, sensations, and thoughts, which we do not want to deny, we come to the conclusion that the reality of thoughts, sensations, and perceptions is that one reality, which is consciousness, awareness. So a metaphor for that is, in our night dreams, there are thoughts, perceptions, images, all sorts of things happening in the night dream. And there is the dreamer, that which perceives the dreams. So there is that which does not change, which is the dreamer, that which is perceiving. That is unchanging. And then that which changes is the dream mind, the dream activities. So we come to the conclusion in that metaphor that that which is constant, which is quote unquote real, the reality, is the dreamer. And given that there are dreams, which we do not want to deny, we recognize that the reality of these dreams is the dreamer. And in fact, when the dreamer wakes up, all the dreams are gone, the dreamer remains. And the dreamer, of course, can dream infinite dreams, but irrespective of what dreams the dreamer dreams, those dreams, first, they arise out of the dreamer. Second, they are perceived by the dreamer. Thirdly, they dissolve in the dreamer. And finally, they don't affect the dreamer. As a metaphor. So the key thing in our understanding about meditation is that I am not a character in the dream. That I am the reality of the dream. I am not a character in the dream. I am not a particular body-mind in the dream. I am consciousness, the reality of the dream. Once that duality is seen through, once that sense of separation is seen through, then we are back to our true nature, which is causeless peace, freedom, and happiness. The joy of being and the transparency of being. And we are no longer under the delusion of being a character in time and space. So our understanding has a fruit. There is the fruit of our understanding. And the fruit of our understanding, what Francis refers to as the perfume, the fruit of our understanding is the causeless peace and happiness, effortless beingness. Any questions?
I had a question. I already put it in the chat.
Oh, okay, let me see, Priya. Okay, Priya, you write, a person never came to form a meditation class or neither practice meditation in formal ways. So those type of person can have sighted consciousness or awareness or not. So it's important to understand, Priya, that in reality, there are no persons. That reality is one. It's a reality of consciousness. Although we may perceive persons, we perceive persons, others, only because we experience ourselves and perceive ourselves as another. In other words, when a wave says, hey, I am this wave, I am wave and my name is wave alpha, then that wave alpha says, oh, you are wave beta.
My question is actually not that way. My question is, do you think the consciousness or oneness someone have, or whatever you mean by consciousness or awareness, if somebody don't come to a formal meditation practice or don't learn the formal meditation practice, those type of entity can have a consciousness or oneness or awareness?
I understand your question.
You know what I'm saying?
There is no such thing as a personal awakening. There is no such thing as a personal enlightenment or personal consciousness. or arriving to a personal consciousness. That is part of the understanding. It's important to understand that. I'm not trying to just share Advaita platitudes or some neo-Advaita answers to your question. I understand, your question. When you take a look at your very self, at you, and you ask yourself, what am I? How can I become enlightened? How can I, if I do meditation, will I arrive to consciousness? When you ask yourself this question, what is the I that you are referring to?
Okay, here's the another thing. One entity got enlightened, that doesn't mean whole world got enlightened. So
Yeah,
there should be and not only that,
there is no
even science and all religion come in today after a lot of inventions and a lot of enlightened awakened knowledge. We understood that not only every atoms are similar to other atoms, because oxygen is atoms of oxygen is oxygen, and hydrogen is hydrogen. There is also that kind of differential we had, and which is actually not only proven from science and proven from also meditative knowledge too. So my question trying to say that what we actually mean by consciousness and awareness in particular, if there is some exemplary way of telling that.
Okay. By consciousness, I refer to whatever it is that truly perceive. What is it that is real right now that perceives? The reality which perceives.
What I perceive actually depends individual to individual.
Not what you perceive. No, you miss. Hold on. I did not say the reality is that which you perceive. I said consciousness is the reality which perceives, not the mind. The mind can differ. That which you perceive differs from that which I perceive.
Right.
I agree 100%. But what I am sharing with you is that there is an instrument of perception. There is an instrument of perception that is called Magdi, and there is an instrument of perception that is called Priya. Magdi, the body-mind, Magdi is right now in Southern California, in this room, and the walls are yellow. The body-mind instrument called Priya is in a different city, and the walls are white. So the instrument is turned. The instrument Magdi is turned towards the wall yellow. The instrument Priya is turned towards the wall white. So mind A, which is Magdi mind, yellow. Mind B, which is Priya mind, white. But that is the difference at the mind level. That which perceives is not the mind. The instrument does not perceive. That which perceives is consciousness. It is consciousness is not white, is not yellow. It is the reality which perceives.
What I understand from Buddha's language, he never said that nothing exists. He did explain that's why 31 existence of realm. So saying hell, heaven, he agreed. He agreed with the past, present, and future. But what the distinction he wants to make is there is a delusion of our perception. So when we perceive something, we dilute our perceptions. So we don't see the law of nature. True nature. True nature. And that's how we are bringing more unhappiness to each of our life and make each of us vulnerable and make others vulnerable.
So what is your question?
So for me, the yes, like you say, true consciousness, there is two kind of consciousness and awareness. One is we call diluted awareness.
No. What is your question?
And another is, I mean, like you said, true nature of consciousness or law of nature, which never change even, right? For example, change is a characteristics of nature. You can go for anything in this, that, or those. It exists, right? Change is happening, right? So those kind of things are characteristics of the law of nature, which can be obtained once someone goes through any kinds of meditation practice, or even if you don't do the meditation. My question was actually a person even don't go formal meditation, but he goes through of awareness, but can be diluted awareness. But if he has some previous sankara, like a good, moralities or good deeds he did, so he has better accumulation, so he has better awareness and better understanding of law of nature, and that's the way one get actually very close to true consciousness.
So it sounds to me like you have the question and the answers. That's good. Okay, good. You have the question and the answer. That's good.
That's what I was actually asking in a phrase, and put it to you over there, that if it's a formal people meditation, do the consciousness or not, or informal never did. Some people you see that never went to meditation, but they have some kind of very good consciousness, real true nature of consciousness understanding, right? That was my question, how they got it.
Well, the thing about your question is that when you ask a question and you're not interested in the answer, then there is no need to ask the question. If your question, you're really interested in an answer, if you have a particular answer you want, then you have the question and the answer. But if a genuine question is an open question, it's a question that is posed and it's open to whatever is going to be the answer. Doesn't mean it's going to accept it, but it is open to at least attempt to comprehend it. So in order to be able to ask a question, you have to first of all put aside your expected answer. Having said that, let me repeat what I understood your question to be and my answer. I understood your question to be, how come certain people get enlightened? What sort of meditation do they need to do? Some people do a certain meditation and attain certain enlightenments, others don't. Is that correct interpretation of your question, or am I misunderstanding your question?
Yes, that is the textual questions I did ask, and also before actually I was asking the first question I did is the similar question with the second question.
Well, let's stay with this question. Let's stay with this question, if you don't mind. So we don't.
Yeah, of course.
Let's stay with this question. So the question about enlightenment. Okay, just before I say some more about enlightenment. Consciousness, when I use the term consciousness becoming self-knowing, meaning consciousness knowing itself and being itself and abiding as itself without leaving itself, that's another way in which I speak about the Sahaja Samadhi.
Agreed.
Okay, so the consciousness doesn't get enlightened, meaning it's already what it is. It's already reality is already reality. Truth is already truth. Consciousness is already consciousness. Now, when consciousness chooses to believe that there is a separate person, a separate personal reality, which is called me, and that this separate me is real, and that this separate me can practice meditation. And if this separate me practices the correct meditation, this separate me will become enlightened. That entire process I just described is just the game of consciousness, because there is in fact no separate personal self that gets enlightened. The separate personal self is a veil, is one of the ways in which consciousness closes its eyes and says, who am I? Who am I? There is, when it closes its eyes, when it puts its hands on its eyes, and it says, I am Magdi, I am a woman, I am a man. At that moment, it is playing the game of separation. It is playing the game of separation. And this game of separation ends whenever consciousness chooses it to end. It doesn't end because consciousness has practiced 20 years of meditation and suddenly it has become free. No, it ends whenever consciousness chooses it to end. Now, you can tell yourself, well, wait a minute. What about me? What am I going to do if consciousness is playing this game and consciousness is going to choose the ending of this game? What am I going to do? Well, the reply to your question is that you are this consciousness, not you, Priya, not you, the body-mind. You, the real you, is consciousness. Then your question is, well, what is the real me? Well, this is what you need to find out. You need to find out, you meaning you, consciousness, need to find out what is the real you. The way you can find out what is the real you is by investigating the belief that you are Priya. If you investigate the belief that you are Priya, you will find that no, I am not Priya. I am consciousness. And you investigate the belief again. Am I the feelings? You will come to the conclusion, no, I am not the feelings, I am awareness. Then you will investigate again, am I memories? And you will come to the conclusion, no, I am not memories, I am the reality which perceives the memory. Then you will ask again, am I the emotions? And you will come to the conclusion, no, I am not the emotions, I am the awareness. Then you ask yourself, is this awareness dependent on the emotions, dependent on the body, dependent on thoughts, dependent on feelings? You have to ask yourself this question, you have to investigate. And if you investigate, you will come to the understanding that consciousness is I, and this consciousness is not dependent on the world, body, mind. So your question.
So you're saying consciousness is you and conscious are all dependent on consciousness?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So you were saying, I heard that you're saying several times today, consciousness is I, and
yes.
Consciousness, we depend on consciousness, right?
No. I'm saying I is consciousness, and consciousness does not depend on the world, body, mind. Consciousness does not arise out of the world, body, mind. Consciousness is not limited by the world, body, mind.
Okay.
But coming back to your question, the main point I wanted to say is that there isn't a separate self that awakens. So there isn't a separate self that can practice certain meditations that awakens. Now, I am, because I'm speaking the direct path to understand that. Now, having said that, in the dream, within the game of consciousness, there is the bhakti path, for example. There is the path of love, the path of devotion, the path of wisdom, and the direct path. So there are different paths, but although there are different paths, all of these paths eventually lead you to one understanding. The understanding that your reality, or that which you truly are, is...
So you are basically saying oneness, and I'm agreed with you, but my question is, what I described earlier, did I describe something different? Because I saw that your statement against my statement was saying that I was questioning and also answering in the same way. My intention count. Karma, we do a lot of things as a karma, as action. Karma all not count. Like, for example, if your hands wake up, if you raise your hand, it's also a karma, but that karma is neutral, right? So it doesn't yield any result, right? Any sorts of immoral, it's neutral. It's a result is neutral. So when I was saying I had the intention to assist you, and I came with the question and answer similar to you, but the difference is you kind of blame me, saying that, hey, Priya, if you have a question and answer, and if you have it, then you don't have an open-minded. And then here's the thing, and you concluded the same oneness. How you describe that?
Okay, what I would say, Priya, is the following. When you say you are coming here to help, what is this you that is coming here to help?
Help and assist, two different, there is a little distinction between help and assist, right?
Assist. Okay, what
assist.
is the,
okay.
When you say...
What I said, what you said, like you said, consciousness, right? So what I'd like a last example I gave it to you, is trying to give you can explain like a same thing in 10 different example, and come up to the same conclusion, right? What we call that a awakened or enlightened person can have more explanatory capacity. That's why it happens to him, and an ordinary person don't have. So in assisting in this conversation, intention was, well, here's the example. Hey, what happens if you explain the same thing in this way? So that's kind of intention of assisting, is what I'm saying. So it's like a cooperation, but not. I did mention in my statement that you had a experienced meditator, right? So I was encouraging you and noting you, not to dumping you. Is what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, Priya, okay,
because that's why it's called rush. When we talk, rush speech also make us a immoral acts, which also cause us an bad effect.
Okay, Priya, appreciate your intention to assist. It's very beautiful. I can only speak my language. I cannot speak your language. I think that it is therefore not a good assistance for me to try to speak a different language. So I would.
So for the help, I'm not attacking you again and again. I'm saying I have no intention to be harmful to anyone, not only you, even somebody, don't like me. I don't want to be harmful for that person. Don't take me wrong. Don't take me wrong.
I am not taking you wrong. I'm not taking you wrong. It's fine. It's just we just spent the last 20 minutes. In a conversation. I'm not taking you wrong. I appreciate your intention. All I'm saying is that I am not sure that it works that way. That's all. That's not. It doesn't seem to me that it works this way.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you. Just what my intention was saying again and again. I don't have any harmful intention, and it will not be in future.
Very good. I appreciate that. Any questions?
I'll pass.
All right. Any questions? Anybody here? Yes? No? You're good? Okay. So
I just wanted, hi.
Yes.
Hi, Magdi. I
Hello.
just wanted to thank you. The meditation was just beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay, wonderful. It's lovely to be with you all. Of course, trust me, Priya, there is no hard feeling. Just not sure that it works this way. Love you all. Thank you, Frank, Lauren, George. Hello, George, and Holger. Thank you, Priya, Grace. Hello, Rahul, and Lisa, Karen. Hey, Karen, and Kelly, and Richard. Thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
All right.
Thanks, Magdi. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.